Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Archie's Briefings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch, and today, you guys, we're going to be talking about the debate that happened during the debate. I know you guys are like, what does that even mean? So there was a lot of people are calling her unhinged. I don't know this woman's name, but it was a part of Revolt News, and it's a news company in Atlanta. The journalist, if you want to call her that, kind of went off. I don't even have the words. She just kind of went crazy. And we're going to talk about that today. I know I did say that I was going to do a reaction video to the debate. I did do those lives. And so you guys know what I think about that. As you get further into the week, we are going to see some of the results of what happened with the debate. But today, you guys, it's about the debate that happened during the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump. So, not so much about that one, but about how Black people were acting in this. And it's not all of them. It's really just the host giving people a bad name. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that. There is something that has been on my heart that I did want to discuss. Discipline is a huge part of being productive, being lucrative. I am not for anything that goes against true productivity, true sovereignty of the individual. The choices that we make are what's going to be up for judgment. So if you're interested in getting an original score done because you're a content creator like myself, or you're a musician, better with the lyrics than you are with the music, you're going to want to reach out to this gentleman, Matthew Torrance, on scoresandmusic.com. He's incredible. He gave me original music. He asked me what kind of style of music that I liked. He managed to get my voice in the voiceover. He was just fantastic. He did wonders just going based off of the little bits of information that I gave him. And so he's going to do amazing things for you if you are someone who is interested in having an original score, either for a podcast like this one or because you want to make some music. Get it done. I totally understand that. Again, it's Matthew Torrance on scoresandmusic.com. And without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and let's get into the episode. Okay, so as I said before the open, guys, that we are going to be talking about the debate that took place during the debate. And the debate between Trump and Kamala, not as fiery as I thought most of us thought it was going to be. Obviously, there were some problems, you know. One of the things that you can say seems to be consistent with both of the debates is that the people who were there to debate ended up debating the moderator. And this one was far more hinged. I would say the ABC moderators at least gave the guys, or at least they tried to, but were at least well behaved about it. This moderator, not so much. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run just a few portions of it, just so you have an idea of where my head is as to what I think about this. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, because here's the thing about it, you guys. This is what they say when they're talking about Black Americans, when they say we don't know how to act. And this woman just pretty much bought right into the stereotype. I mean, she's behaving exactly the way you should not behave. I was watching this debate, and I mean, my goodness, my sister was talking about it, my mother was talking about it, everybody, we were all on the phone just talking about how this woman needs to be slapped. My mother, who would agree with some of these policies, couldn't even understand. She couldn't even. Like, this woman is looking for a fight. This woman is not interested in having a conversation. She's not looking for understanding. Funnily enough, it was Young Jock, the rapper, who promotes thuggery in a lot of his music. Meet Me in the Club is going down. This is the guy who talks about thuggery, Hodem, and he was the most level-headed, trying to get people to come together and actually understand it. Not the moderator, not the moderator. So without further ado, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to run that clip because, oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and let's do that, shall we? Okay, so I don't know this woman's name, and I'm assuming that is it there, Tesla, maybe that's her. But she was kind of ridiculous, and a lot of people are talking about her being just completely unhinged. No one spoke about her policies. No one cared about what her arguments were, because all of what she was trying to say just got completely lost in the ratchet. Hard to take you seriously. It's hard to even try to find some kind of basis of understanding if this is how you're going to act. So let's go ahead and let's run this, shall we? I'll let her behavior speak for herself.
That I'm gonna be all right, me and my son, with or without you. So Black women have been conditioned, unfortunately, because of the Black family issues, been conditioned to say, I'm gonna have my baby anyway. I'm gonna be all right anyway. It's the white woman that's sitting up talking about, let me get the abortion, because they train their young girls that if you have a baby, a ready-made baby, you are now damaged. So this is what we know based on facts. So I just want to be clear. I understand the abortion issue, and I tell Democrats all the time.
But I want to be clear. I wasn't saying that.
So look at this already. So I'm like 14 minutes into this already, you guys. I didn't want to start all the way from the beginning. When this started, this portion of it, when they were talking about the abortion thing, okay, you guys can find this. I will put the link because it took me a minute to go find the whole thing. I'll put the link to this whole debate in the description box so you guys have it. She spoke for like 3 minutes straight, which you guys understand. 3 minutes in a debate is a long time to be talking. They gave Trump and Kamala 2 minutes to speak their positions. This woman spoke for like 3 minutes straight, not allowing anybody to get their position in. You could tell just by looking at everybody there. And women, like, let other people have their say. And you're the moderator, right? So this isn't that so much that you can't get your one-liners in because, this isn't a presidential debate for them, obviously. So it's not that she couldn't have an opinion here, but her opinion should have been short. She should have had at least a minute, and they should have known better than to let her go on like that. This, there are other people here. When you're doing your own show, when you're doing something like, this podcast, like Archie's Briefings, it's just me recording in front of the camera. I can talk for as long as I would like, right? I can go on for an hour and a half. You guys saw that with the lives. You obviously know that. So I understand that you have your opinions, but when you're moderating a debate, it's not that, you can't say what you think, but you have other people here who have something to say. So I'm going to let it rock a little bit longer because I do have something to say about what's going on with Michaela here. Michaela Montgomery, I think she's fantastic.
I know, but I just want to be clear because I don't want that stigma out there just running with the trolls in the comments. Yeah. I want to be clear that Black women are not the ones. That's why you don't see us in the pussycat hats and all of that talking about abortion.
The ones that are promoting this too.
Yeah, but no, and that's where I'm disagreeing with you because the thousands of women that are out protesting for abortion are white women.
And
that's the bottom line.
Black women that we need
right, but
abortions.
It's white women though. But we ain't out there though, sis. So let's be clear.
They're telling us that.
But who gives a damn what they tell us? We want to be clear.
But you see. And people, this is only just the beginning. There's so many other parts in here that I want to get into. Maybe not so many, but a few other parts that I do want to get into because she does have some issues with some of the audience members, which, my goodness, you went on for a few minutes, okay? You went on for a few minutes. And if this is supposed to be a conversation, then you can't overpower it. You have to let other people get their opinions in. So it's clear that Michaela had something to say about abortion and the host didn't like it. And so she just went on a tirade, went off, not letting any person speak. On our left here, you obviously see that there are people who might disagree with Michaela, but they're not saying anything because guess what? She's doing all the talking. The moderator is doing all of the talking as it relates to the pro-abortion position, but that's not your role as the moderator. You literally have two other people sitting here who can argue why they're for it. Why are you not letting them speak? And then you're not even letting Michaela try to explain what she means when she says that though it may not be Black people out here rallying and arguing for why we should have these things, that's what the Democrats tell Black women. That's the argument that she's making or trying to make, right? But the host won't let her do that. Now, it could just be that she's so unhinged that she didn't like what was said and she gets emotional over the subject matter. And this is what we mean when we say that we like facts over feelings. And she's just not letting anybody speak. And this is not even just so much about letting the conservatives speak. She's not even letting her own side, which is quite clear that this is her side, argue against the conservatives. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to fast forward a little bit more for you guys because, what I want people to understand is that you can't just say that you're going to be in a debate and not have your position actually heard, right? They want to make jokes. They want to tell you that you're stupid. Okay, but if this is supposed to be a place where we're supposed to respect each other, well, then that's not what's happening here. If this is supposed to be a place where I'm supposed to be able to articulate my position on certain issues, then you have to let me do that. And then you're the moderator. So you're not here to debate me. These other two people are. So what are we doing? If this is how we're supposed to do this, this is not a real debate. But I'm going to go even further because, my goodness, this gets even worse, guys. It gets even worse. Okay, so what you guys are about to see is an audience member, the only white woman in the audience. And just look at how she handles her. Let's get the question first. So we all know what the question is, right?
Have you noticed like all the men don't want Camilla, a woman, running the country, but when they do jury selection, or in the clips you showed, when they do jury selection, they do a lot of research on like different races and genders and how they identify. And they say like white women actually identify as being a woman first before being Caucasian.
What are you talking about?
And Black women identify with their race first. And don't you think like there's something about being inclusive and like women supporting women in general?
Ma'am,
And
white women, y'all in the women's suffrage movement, when black men had the opportunity to vote, it was y'all that said, before black men get a chance to vote, we're going to vote. So being inclusive with white women, since you're conservative, let me break it down to you. White feminism that you know y'all Republicans say y'all against, it was white feminism that divided us, that said good.
Okay, so already, valid question, right? She said, I don't support abortion. I don't know if you guys heard that part, but she said it, the woman that was at the mic said, I don't support abortion, by the way, because that was what they were talking about before. To then asking, so the jury pool, they do a lot of research. And one of the things that they notice, the differences between white women and black women. When white women select, they go through in the questionnaire as far as, how you would vote, or not just vote, but how you would find something in a jury. White women are more likely and have at the higher rates have checked woman first and then checked their race. Whereas with black women, more likely to check black before a woman. And so what I would like to know, because this is the question that she's asking, wouldn't it be more inclusive if we were just deciding to prioritize the thing we have in common, which is our womanhood, rather than race? Why is it that when black women check the boxes, they check their race before their gender, and white women choose their gender before their race? Like, why do we do that? It's a valid question, right? Valid questions. Why that disparity between black women and white women? Why? Why not be more inclusive and just focus on the fact that we are all women? Two valid questions that if she were not being so ratchet, this is one of the moments here that I was telling you guys about, that because of her ratchetness, okay? Because of her ratchetness, she's allowing her emotional state take over and answer the question. Oh, well, it's because you white women, and it's clear that you're conservative, and I'm going to teach you something today. I'm like, all this valid questions. Why the disparity between black women and white women when we're filling out the questionnaires? Why is it that we check black over woman first, whereas with white women, they check their gender before they check their race? I mean, why is that? Why that disparity between black women and white women? And why not just focus on the fact that we're all women? This is a unifying thing. And so in her ratchetness, all she's done here is explain the exclusivity, and the irony here is that this is coming from a woman who's obviously on the left. You say you want inclusivity, and yet you're sitting here saying that the reason why we check our race first is because we don't want to be included. Now, that's what I'm getting out of this, and it's because of her ratchet. The argument could have easily been, well, the reason why is because of all the terrible things that have happened to black people in the history. And so for that reason alone, we check our race first because this is the thing that has been most disrespected. Okay, I disagree with this argument, but this would have been something to say without all the attitude, right? All this attitude. Like, look at this.
Get on the white women's side, because the white women's side pushed white male supremacy.
Well, I was born in 1983, so
Yeah.
I
Well, I'm
wasn't
giving
a
you
part
the,
of
well, I'm
that.
I
giving
had
you the
nothing to do with
information.
that.
It was white women, just a little history. It was white women that divided up saying women first, because what women first meant in white women's world meant white men first, not
Well,
black men.
I just
And we
like
know that according to the history of the
I
women's
just
suffrage
judge
movement.
people individually.
Oh
on
yeah,
how
well,
they
we're not
treat
talking about
Right.
you. We're talking about systems.
Okay,
So unfortunately, you're
that's
not
fair.
the system. And what I'm saying, the system, when you say we should identify as a woman first, that actually divides the black family.
I didn't say
What-
we should.
but-
I was just saying, like, from the one white person.
Right,
in the room.
I know that
Right.
you wanted to say that shouldn't we identify with the importance of identifying as a woman first and
Right.
not color. And I'm letting
Right.
you know why black women identify with color first. Because when we identify
And that's the point, right? You're trying to let her know why black women identify with color first over their gender. Okay, that's the question that she's looking to get an answer to. But in your disrespect, it's hard to get that. You're putting on all of the history onto the one white person in the room. Wait, I was born in this year. I had nothing to do with all of the systemic issues. What I would like to know is why the disparity, which hard to get when you're being so disrespectful, because now I'm not even listening for the answer. I'm not even listening for the answer now. I'm just so ready to be combative now because that's exactly how you're behaving. There's so much more here, you guys. I got to go even further because there's so much more. Because as we go further and further into this whole thing, you have Michaela Montgomery here, which we are going to show a clip of her going after the moderator here, because that's something that we do have to discuss. One of the things that's been so completely consistent so far with these debates, which is hilarious, that during the Trump and Kamala debate, one of the biggest criticisms is that he was also debating the moderators. And you have the same thing with this. So this seems to be a consistency with the left. That's just, interesting to me, that it seems to me that when they have these debates, the moderators are so eager to put in their facts, to fact check the people that are in the room, to not allow the person that they are there to debate, that the opposition is there to debate, to actually speak what their beliefs are, what their values are, what they actually stand on, because the moderators are so damn busy doing the job for them, getting in the way, so that way the conservative can't actually argue against the opposition. Like, you have them here for a reason. Let me at it. Let me do my part. I will say what I think. They will say what they think, and we can have this debate. Let the audience decide. And she's not doing that. She's overpowering the conversation. First of all, I don't think they should ever let her moderate a debate ever again if she's going to act like this. And it gets even worse, you guys. It gets even worse. There were men in this audience who were feeling what the conservatives were saying, right? That family is a big thing, that the destruction of the Black family is a big thing. And that's why the difference between Black men and Black women are leaning towards Kamala Harris. Black men are leaning towards Donald Trump. Now, the numbers are not high, right? It's not high at all. It's not high. 16% of Black men are leaning towards Trump, where only 10% of Black women are leaning towards Trump. The numbers obviously are leaning further with the Democrats. We obviously know why. I don't think any Republican conservatives that are going to get the majority Black vote. I think they could take votes from the Democrats, but you're not going to get the Black vote ever. I agree with Ann Coulter on that one. You're not going to get the Black vote. Stop trying to get the Black vote. If you can take votes away from them just by doing what's right for all Americans, then that's what you should do. And Black men have made it very clear, we do not feel respected with Democrats. And I do believe that the Taylor Swift endorsement is part of the dig, the knife being twisted. It's like, you just made it incredibly clear that you don't care about men, period, and that you specifically don't care about Black men, because no one gives a damn about the Taylor Swift vote except for young women. Young men and men in general don't feel respected by the Democrats. That's why you see Kamala Harris struggling. And this is something that comes up in this next portion of this conversation here, this outrageous conversation that's taking place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run that clip for you guys.
Your props for those laptops, because I know it's going to make the difference for those kids that you did that to. So people who are online, please just watch who you give, who you're trying to knock, and who you give respect to, because those are resources that you didn't have to do, but you did it because you've always been a real one. And so we, as a community, we appreciate you, and you should be, if anything, one of the first people to speak, because when people aren't looking, you're still working for us. Mm-hmm. And I do want to say this, and this is, Tez, I know you said one thing, you said, hey, you sit next to a big dog, but out of that whole stage right there, if Trump wins, only one of y'all going to the White House, and that's Michaela right there. Yep. And so we got to be honest on what we got to know. We have to know. What I'm saying is, hold on. Out of the whole crowd, only one person. Hold on, let me just.
Gotta listen to each other. Let's hear.
Go ahead, brother.
And this is why, right? He's like, look, right. He's getting frustrated. He's like, you're not even letting me say what needs to be said. You're just reacting. Like, let me finish my point. Like, listen, if this guy gets into the White House, only one person sitting in the panel, probably in this entire room, is going to the White House. And, you're not letting him finish his comments. You're not letting him finish his statements, which possibly means, hey, listen, because she may be the one that's going to the White House, we might actually be able to get our plight to the president directly. She might be able to reallocate some of the resources to Black Americans, which is something that's incredible. And look how far this goes with this host.
Black people,
finish.
And when it comes down to
finish your comment, baby.
When it comes down to a divide,
focus on
when it comes down to a divide in our community, this is why, because we're talking about everybody.
Focus on what you were doing. I'm trying to say my statement. You interrupted me. Okay. And now I'm trying to get my comment out. You won't let me do that. This is what I'm trying to do. Let me try to say my piece. You let me come to the mic. Let me do like, woman, shut up.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to wait. No, you're not. No, I'm going to stop you because you're going on and on.
And
look at that finger. So annoying. No, I'm going to stop you. Like, no, let me say my piece.
sister here is the one that invited this sister. So if I did not respect this sister, she wouldn't be sitting there. And you're going to put some respect on that. We're not going to sit up here. No, you can get frustrated and look down at this, all of that. Relax. Well, we got to make sure we're very clear.
Relax,
this platform was designed to bring this sister here. So if there was no respect for this sister, she wouldn't be here. So let's make sure we're using the right context, brother. I don't mind you making the point about one sister going. This is the only sister on this stage that want to go. So let's also make that clear, because I don't work in no White House. So I want to be clear about that. Everybody ain't trying to get a job in the White House. You can continue, but let's not act like she's not respected, because she
giving me permission. You know, I spoke to my twin sister today. She's like, it's quite obvious this woman do not have a man, because that disrespect is just horrible. I'm like, shut up. You're talking about being respectful, but you're not letting anybody speak. You're not letting anybody speak. It's like, she doesn't let anybody speak. She wants to change the narrative. She wants to interject her opinion rather than letting the conversation flow naturally, letting people have this conversation back and forth. This was the post part of the debate where they're going to start speaking on the issues of illegal immigration specifically. Was a big one for them. And Michaela rocked. And rather than letting her finish her point, she wanted to interject, trying to make this about politics. And is what you get here.
Resources that are literally being given to somebody else. Additionally, let's talk about the reasoning why they're coming over here, because we keep talking about the type of people that are coming over here. Let's look about the reasoning why they're even letting them coming over here. Mm-hmm. Black people are no longer fearing that the Republicans are going to take away our right to vote. These voter suppression arguments are no longer working. Yet if you can threaten an entire demographic of people, it's at 10 million now. We can only imagine what it would be in the next 4 years if this woman wins this office. In which case, now if you tell that large of a demographic of people that they will lose all of their benefits and their citizenship if they were to vote for a Republican, you can guarantee that you now have a new loyal voting base. So in the same way that Black people have been prioritized last, every time we're prioritized first during campaign season, prioritized last during an administration. Yep. We're going to go see us be kicked out of the room. We won't even be on the list once these migrants have come over here. There's already 10 million. There's only 49 million of us here. There's only 49 million of us here. Yep. And then if you think about the voter apathy that exists within the Black community, there's not 49 million of us voting. Yep. But you can guarantee every single one of those illegals who can get out there and vote is gonna go vote.
Well, when we have more time,
if they're not U.S. citizens.
They're literally voting in our election.
She cooked, and she actually let her speak, which was incredible, because she was actually able to get something out about what was actually going on here. Here's the thing: when you are not able to get as much into the conversation as possible, the best thing you can do, guys, is to find your moment, and when you have your moment, to just be as clear, as efficient as possible. You saw all the loudness and the flailing around and the moderator setting this tone of getting this loud. I don't know if anybody told her in her ear, calm down, but she was incredibly disrespectful. And Michaela, listen, when she first showed up, she was ready to just be calm, ready to be respectable, but she wasn't allowing that to be the case. And Michaela is not Candace Owens. She's not just going to wait for someone to stop talking. I'm going to say, can I finish, please? Don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't cut you off. No, if you're going to talk loud, I'm going to talk loud, and we'll just wait to see what the audience hears. And how many times, she was ready to say it, and she was given the time to say it, and she said it very clear, very effectively. I'm going to stop with this, guys. Again, there are other parts in this that I would like for you guys to see. But all in all, I think we kind of get the point. You're being incredibly disingenuous by not allowing people to speak when you have people on the other side who are here to argue their positions. And it gets even worse. It gets louder, just as it was earlier. This moderator was completely unhinged. She was completely ratchet. And if she had any legitimate arguments, it got lost in the ratchet. And this is what they say. This is what they mean when they say Black people don't know how to act. Look at your job. Look at where you work. Look at what you're doing. You work at an all Black owned business. You should be projecting decorum and lady behavior. You should be an example. And rather than controlling your emotions, you allowed your ratchet to come out and be incredibly disrespectful, not just to the panelist, but also to the audience. And that's what they mean when they say Black women don't know how to act. That's what the manosphere says when they say that they are not attracted to Black women, because they're incredibly disrespectful. That right there is why this becomes complicated for Black women. That right there, because not all Black women act like that. The constant waving the finger. I get Jasmine Crockett, another one of these kind of women out here. I don't care about the lashes. I don't care about the weaves, the wigs. I don't care. If you want that's fine. You know, it could look quite beautiful in some cases. You look beautiful. I just wish you carried yourself like the lady you look like, but you don't do that. Incredibly disrespectful, incredibly disingenuous. I don't understand why we got to act like that. That's why they say Black women don't know how to act. That right there. And Michaela was prepared to fight her on that. If you're going to be ratchet in defense of the things that are harming Black people, then I'm going to get loud and meet you at your standard to defend the positions and the potential presidency that would help us. You want resources in Black America? Guess what? This is the guy to get it done. You want to make sure your vote matters? Guess what? This is the guy to get it done. And it doesn't even matter if you disagree with the conservatives on this regard as it related to this particular debate, but even people who agree with her were leaving. Notice in the beginning, there was a woman sitting in that seat, not a man, and she left because it felt like it was too much. This is ridiculous. Why are we acting like this? Why are we acting like that? Here's the thing. We got to do better than behave that way. And Michaela, I think, is a wonderful representation of Black women when given the opportunity to be as much of a lady as she possibly can. And when in the position to get fiery, because this is the standard you've set, this is how it's going to be. You know, not everybody's going to be like Candace Owens and just say, don't interrupt me, please. They're going to get loud. And if you're going to get loud for the things that are hurting Black Americans, well, then I'm going to get loud defending the things that are going to help us the most. And, you know, we could decide in the comments whether or not you agree, disagree with how Michaela was able to, you know, meet her at her game. Do you agree that women, if you are someone who knows you behave better than what the moderator was doing, do you think it's right that Michaela met her at her standard? If we're going to act like this, then I'm going to act like this. Do you agree with that? I don't necessarily know. I don't know if I agree or disagree. You know, would I have done it? I might have just sat there and rolled my eyes like, okay, because, I'm not screaming. I'm not losing my voice, which I use to help people. I'm not doing that, you know, but Michaela wasn't afraid to go there, you know, whether or not that's a good thing, bad thing. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. Is it a good thing? That's what I guess is up for debate, but you got what she had to say. You guys go ahead and get into the comment sections and you let me know what you think. You can follow me you can all follow me, on Instagram at Archie Financial. You can follow me on LinkedIn at Arshel Branch. You can follow me on Twitter at Archie_finance. If you guys would like to support the show, you can go ahead and you can cash at me at #, Arshel Branch. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do think that there is something to that conversation is related to illegal immigration. A lot of people were leaving the room. And Michaela, I think she's a force. I think she's going to be someone who's going to be an incredible influence on Black women, especially younger Black women. I think she shows it's okay to be engaging with some kind of secular parts of our culture, but ultimately we have to make sure that we're being represented in the best kind of ways. And the Democrats are just not doing that. I agree with that. You guys let me know in the comment sections. Again, thank you all for watching. God bless. Have a good night and Kepla.